And now, good afternoon and welcome to the American University Museum at the Katz and Art Center in Washington, D.C. And the virtual gallery talk we're going to have right now featuring the artist Pilar Albarracín and the curator Pia Ojea. We started working on this exhibition about 4 years ago. The great Washington collector and insider Tony Podesta first suggested that we consider the work of Pilar Albarracín, in particular a work that he had purchased at the Venice Biennale titled Techo de Ofrendas, or Ceiling of Offerings, an installation consisting of 700 flamenco dresses, which became the centerpiece of Pilar Albarracín, Take a Knife and Open My Heart. That was our plan. Then came COVID, and all our plans were put on hold. The museum canceled 26 exhibitions during that period, but at last we've been able to bring Pilar to Washington. Pilar's work has been shown in museums around the world, in Paris, Berlin, New York, Istanbul, Moscow, Helsinki, and now Washington, D.C. She has been invited to participate in biennials around the world, and her projects and exhibitions are simply too numerous to list here. This is only an hour program. The exhibition was curated by Pia Ojea, art historian, cultural manager, professor, and curator extraordinaire. Her projects and exhibitions, too, are too numerous to list here on this short program. But Pia will be leading a discussion with Pilar. If you have any questions, please enter them into the chat box on your computer, usually down at the bottom there, and we will get to them after our initial discussion. Now it is my great pleasure to turn this presentation over to Pia Ojea. Thank you, Pia.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you for joining us today to this gallery talk online. Last Saturday on June the 17th, indeed, we opened a show we were working on for a long time. As Jack mentioned, it was scheduled for 2001, and because of COVID, we are opening it 2 years later. But it is a real pleasure to, at the end and after all these problems in between, we have bring to the US the work of Pilar Albarracín, one of the most important contemporary and living artists in Spain. We are really proud to bring her work to the US because Pilar, among other issues or subjects that we will go into details during our conversation, has been doing research through her work about Spanish identity and what is the representation of Spanish culture abroad through her contemporary artistic gaze. So, as I said, we are very moved by this bilateral project between US institutions like the American University at the Katz and Art Center, and also other American institutions that are collaborating in the show, as the Mint Museum in Charlotte, and also particulars were very important private collectors, as Jack Rasmussen mentioned, Tony Podesta, a collector from Washington, that has been supporting Pilar Albarracín work in the US for almost 2 decades. And on the other hand, we are very proud because we also have the support of the Spanish government through ACE, which is a grant from the Foreign Affairs government in Spain to support the show, and a very precious help also from the Spanish embassy in Washington, who made possible to publish a small catalog that, if we have the chance at the end of this talk, we will share some of its content. The show, as I mentioned before, opened last weekend and could be visited until August the 20th, together with other 5 shows. So I hope you you could join and visit the show at the Katzenarth Center in Washington. The exhibition is divided into 2 floors in the museums, and it is mainly a video exhibition, because one of the most important part of Pilar Albarracín work is performance and video, and the way she do document his performance is through video and through photography. So in the exhibition, you will have the chance to discover 17 of her video works, starting in 1990 or 1993, 1994. And the last video is from 2020, even if we also have some more recent documents about her performance, but it's mainly 30 years of her performances through video and photography. But on the other hand, we also have at the Katzenarth Center an amazing installation by Pilar. Jack Rasmussen already talked about this installation. It is called Ceiling of Offering, and it's a ceiling piece composed by almost, as Jack said, 700 dresses. And we wanted to bring this piece because on one hand it's a very impressive piece, and on the other hand it is very pictorial. I mean, it talks about color, painting, materials, because we will talk about this later on during the conversation. But Pilar Albarracín she not only works with performance and video, but she works with a huge variety of techniques, starting with drawings, sculpture, embroidery, arts and crafts, and Ceiling of Offering is there at the show in order to approach the audience, not only to his installation, but also how she works, for example, with fabric and textile, because, as I mentioned, the piece is composed by 700 hanging flamenco dressing on the ceiling. And as I said, this 2 floors exhibition is divided in 2 floors. The first floor is focused in one subject that has been related to Pilar Albarracín works in the very beginning, which is the Spanish identity and its connection to women social status in society. And in the third floor, the subject of the selection of the works are more related to structures of power, domination. For example, there is an important part of the works where animals are also introduced in the iconography of her work as representatives as representative of fables, how animals represent different status in society. And so, as I said, there is these two different lectures of Pilar Albarracín based in these two floors. The first floor talking mainly about Spanish identity and its relationship to women in society, and in the third floor about strategies of domination and social structure. And so I think that with this, it is of course difficult to try to make understand the strength of her work, because always the physical approach to the works are important. But we hope you will have the chance to visit the exhibition during the 2 months that the show is going on at the Katzenab Center. And I think now it is the moment to introduce Pilar's voice in the conversation. And once she is ready, we will start our conversation.
Hello, good evening, everybody. I'm very happy to be here and to have this opportunity to try to talk with all of you and explain a little bit more my work. I want to say thank you to all the team of the museum and all the people that were supporting us in all these projects, and especially to give us the opportunity to show a little bit more the contemporary art that now we are making in Spain, curating, and it's nice to share with people that have interest. As Pia was explaining very good, most of my work is focused in different levels. From the beginning, I'm very interested in the identity and all the possible variation of that. I work with topic, gender, and the woman role in the society, and as well the romantic idea of the Spanish woman, that at the end is not only the representation of the Spanish woman, that could be all the representation and all the topic. And at the same time is connected with the idea and the reflection about the new role that we have as artists in the contemporaneity, because today I think that the art is a very powerful tool to be close to the people, to be close to have more empathy, to connect people, to show the connection that was not very considered before, but today art have the capacity to be very close to the people. So I think that the artists and the people involved in one exhibition have different kind of work. make the people be enjoy, to try to show different perspective of our work, and of course to try to change little by little to be more healthy, more balanced, more better persons, I think. So in the first floor, we start to show sailing of offerings. That was one piece that I make in 2004. All the flamenco dresses are used. That is one thing that I like, because it's not new flamenco dresses without energy,
Hello?
that have her own history, because in the art we play that we can see or not, and we play as well with material that we can feel. So it's maybe difficult to understand, but the energy of the object is a reality. So it's for that we play with emotion as well. We use the form to play with the emotion. So this piece was especially adapted for the first level of the Kassen Art Center in the American University Museum, and can adapt it different form. So I think that if one installation have the possibility to be more versatile, I don't know if you can understand that word, it's good because it's always the beginning of the piece. And I like to be agree with Pia and with the American Museum to open the exhibition with that piece that show the color of the folkloric dresses of my country, and especially of Andalusia, my region, and as well to show us one part of the dress that we never saw, because that part is close to the floor. So there is a special movement of elevation of the dress, and we can observe it, the bottom that never was seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And later we make a selection of pieces connected with the different reflection about the identity of the Spanish or Andalusian woman and the role. I use the kitchen, and I use in more piece, because I think that there is some time where the kitchen was a place where the woman was fighting with the life to feed the family, to look for the house economy. So And that reflection was always thinking with humor terms, because I think that we cannot lose the humor, because we have many bad things in our life. So the good thing, we need to try to connect it with humor and hope. No, the possibility to change the thing and to love the reírnos de nosotros mismos. How you say?
To love about, or to smile, I don't know, to make humor based on yourself, no?
Yeah.
More or less.
So I try to do an analysis, very serious, but at the same time with humor and colorful, because you know, I saw one very good friend that make incredible films, and one day she said to me, why to do something very strong, I need to do something ugly? No, we can do beautiful things with a strong message. So we need to try to change the not right ideas about art, about how to show the thing. We can try to start to do a new education based in different point of work, no? Like beauty, like humor, like no absolute perfection. So it's good to try to do the best, but not to try as well to live with our humanity, no? That we are not a machine. I like so much work in that point. I haven't any material piece manual in that exhibition, only sailing of offering. But I like to work with many artisanal things, handmade things, because I like to see and to accept the irregular finish of the things. So when I work in embroidery, I like to don't be very perfect. You know, I like to have that signature, handmade, and that chain depend of your humor, of your things, no? of your life, no? So I don't know if I talk.
No. I have some comments on what Pilar just said when Pilar was talking about sealing of offerings, the sealing piece made with flamenco dresses. She mentioned that indeed it is like an ascension of women to the ceiling. So in that sense, it's like the image of the empowerment of women that goes from the floor to the ceiling. But there is also a very interesting thing about the fact that the pieces are hanging from the ceiling. Well, first of all, that it's like a kind of beautiful bouquet or abstract painting. But what my point is that Pilar said that it is true that she is interested in a different gaze, in a different way to approach reality, no? And she made this for this work, knowing that, as Pilar mentioned, it is a completely different way to approach the view of these flamenco dresses, because normally you saw them frontally, and now you are seeing the bottom of the dresses. And that is something she also she also made in other works. For example, in the exhibition there is a piece called a choreography, what is
The salvation.
Coreografías de la salvación, sí, choreography for salvation. And it is difficult to, I don't know if we have an image of the video. This is the catalog of the show, where this is at the end of the catalog there is a list of the works on show, and I don't know if we okay. That's the image.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the contrary. I mean, they have in common that in Sealing of Offerings, you are watching and experimenting a part of the view of the flamenco dresses that it's not so common. And this is the contrary. In southern, well, in all Spain, there are religious pilgrimages, and normally the sculptures, religious sculptures, are wear by these men that normally you cannot see, no, how they are carrying. And Pilar made this video, Coreografías para la Salvación, choreographies for salvation, where the main character, or the main the main character of the video, instead of being the religious sculptor, is the men that are wearing these pilgrimage sculptures during Easter. So Pilar, in her work, she's also trying to provoke in the viewer another gaze to reality, no, another way of looking to the world. And another thing that is also interesting in what Pilar mentioned is about the fact that pieces as a Sealing of Offering, Techo de Ofrendas, it is composed by real I mean dresses that has belong to real women with different stories, and all of them has their own story, no? So this gives this also a human approach to the piece, no? It is not only arts and crafts, it is not only folklore, it's not only tradition, it's not only flamenco, but it's the story of hundreds of women and children, because there are also girls, no, dresses there. So it's also like a story tale, no? It's not only this a formal approach to the iconography of flamenco. She's talking also about all the stories that are behind this piece, and it makes also connection with other very well-known pieces by Pilar, which are the mandalas. Perhaps we can show it in your web, no, because here we don't have mandalas.
1 minute. Voy a abrir el catálogo de Tabacalera, ¿vale? El PDF.
Entonces yo cierro. I will.
No, ¿tú lo tienes?
No, aquí en el web lo puedo ver, ¿no?
Okay.
I can show Pilar's web. Uf. Está aquí, ¿no?
Sí, abajo. Ahí al lado de los zapatos. Ahí.
Okay, these are pieces called mandalas, and they are huge, let's call it, I don't know, sculpture, painting installation, where they are huge pieces made with women underwear. And so there is also this connection with sealing of offerings, in the sense that they are made with, in that case, women underwear. All of them are real, and so it's also like a construction of a narrative based in lives of different women, no, and this kind of choral story. And there is also this kind of aesthetic point, because mandala is talking about the universe, and so and techo de ofrendas is like an ascension to the to the sky, no? So there is this also this aesthetic approach to the work, and of course there is also like connection with Courbet and the origin of the world. So I just wanted to point it to these two aspects that somehow I thought it was interesting to mention.
So, and it's important to think that with art you can combine contradictory things. So you can work in the same piece with different levels, and sometimes contradictory levels. It's for that the theory is very good, and it's good to have that level intellectually ready, but at the same time, for me, it's very important the impression when you see the piece and you feel something that sometimes you cannot describe it. No, it's for that everybody has common lecture about one piece, and I can have a little bit I can manipulate the things, but later there is a very particular individual lecture of the piece. So I invite you to come to visit the exhibition, to have your own idea, no? Because there is a common things, but always there is a particular experience, no? When you go to see the art. And all these pits from the first floor have common things. In general, my work is very connected. It's easy to feel that is my work, but I'm very well known for my work about the Spanish identity, but I also work about other issues with animals, and I use many animals in my work to talk about the in the case of the second floor, where are the limits between the animals, or where animals part and the human part? Where are the limits, and how the education gives us a power, and how we can use that. And in the art, which the media, we can play with the power. So I like to be, in sometimes when I make performance, I like to see the reaction of the people, how the people receive this message. And I work many times on the street, because I like to have sometimes the answer to my question with people that are not involved in art. I like to have that point sometimes, because I think that is important to don't lose that part that give the possibility everybody to leave the opinion about this kind of question that we do, and everybody can answer. It's for that I try to use different levels, and the people can have different lecture about the same piece. So why not, when the children are going to the museum, you cannot have one piece that they find interesting or enjoy. Why the art serious give us more reflection, that one kind of art more enjoy, more, I don't know, we can really do an experimentation with the art.
So that was like a kind of answer to the one of the questions. It was in fact the first question. No, what did you find in the streets when you start performing in the 90s? No, why? And it's because of this connection to the people, no, and people that are not expecting to find art in the street, and suddenly, no.
Yeah, today many people ask me the same thing, the same question, but we need to don't forget that when I start to make this piece, this kind of piece, was 30 years ago, and was not easy to find people with a video camera on the street, or the situation in Spain was very different, because we have terrorism, and in Sevilla we opened at this time the Exposición Universal exhibition. So the people was afraid, and we had not mobile phone, so the information was different. So as well, at that time, we have a very big published campaign about AIDS. So the blood was an element very, very special. But always I say that today, that piece that in 30 years ago was removing the people, today is still removing, because it's a usual image that we can see. So it's really sad that we need to continue insisting and fighting to try to change the scene.
And another question I think that the audience would be interested in is the fact that you have always performed with your own body, your actions and photography. And I think if you can talk a little bit about this, it would be interesting to share your point of view. No, why and what do you feel? No, could you explain us why your body is always in your? I mean, how because it has been almost 30 years, no?
Almost 32.
32.
Yeah. I start to with the drawing and painting, but I feel that I need to use another kind of thing to try to explain myself. So I start to do performance, and for me it's very necessary to use my own body and to feel in my own. So sometimes I use more like an action direct. I don't like so much to do for a big audience. I do sometimes for myself with my team and a very short group of people, and I recording. And I have another work that I do using the video and the possibilities that the video gives me. But I feel very, very comfortable when I do. And as well, I start to work with other people, like a collective performance, and that gives me another sensation, but very, very great sensation. So I try to use different materials, different kind to show my ideas. So I like to be free, and I leave my body and my ideas that come down with the way that they decided.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the body, the light is changing because you need to make a reconduction of your body, of your energy, and everything. So that is part of the use of your body in your own work that you need to reconduce.
Mm-hmm. And my last question, as we were starting this conversation, talking about the fact that it's a project made possible by Spanish institutions in the US, and so talking about Spanish art history, I would like you to share with the audience, because there has been a few references about your connections with the iconography of great masters from the Spanish art history, like, for example, Francisco de Goya and Picasso. So could you like give us a short connection? Why do you think, how could you, to the American audience, why do you think there has been so many differences between your work and these two big masters of the Spanish art history?
I don't know, because I have many proposals to work in revision of piece of Goya, of Picasso, and I think that we have in common maybe the passion for our world around, so that we are the three appassionate is very easy to see, no?
Yes.
But the thing that make us to have a different vision is because I think that I'm a woman and I have many heritage from all the culture of the Mediterranean and the rule of the woman. So I have all these and I need to dance with that. So we are in another time now. The world is starting to open the doors, the many space that before we have not received in, and now many people that never dreamed to be in there are going inside. So now the woman, I think that the woman in general and the people that was forbidden the entrance in that space are the future. So we are going to renovate the world that we have now. We are going to contribute to renovate and to give different vision, different possibilities. We are going to contribute to hope in another possible world. So I'm very happy to be included in this new revolution.
Yes. Great. Thank you, Pilar. Thank you for your words, for your passion, and for opening doors.
Opening doors.
Let me echo that. I really appreciate the work that both of you did on this exhibition. I hope that everybody who has heard about it and seen it virtually will actually come and see it in person, because what you've done is really incredible. The way you've orchestrated video, photography, installation, and sound throughout the museum, just seemingly effortlessly. I mean, seamlessly, just very beautifully and effectively done, and all the more remarkable because you're working with pieces that go back 30 years. I mean, it's really quite amazing how you've remained so consistent, and it's allowed you to work in the past and the present at the same time. Really effective, and I encourage everybody to come and see the exhibition in person.
Thank you, Jack. So I don't know if now it's time to, if there is any question, to open the.
I think those are the questions we've had. And I think it's getting towards ending time anyway. So
Mhm.
I just appreciate so much what you've done here in Washington, DC. And look forward to seeing you, following
It's
your
our
work
pleasure.
again.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you, Pilar.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, everybody.